Good evening. This is All India Radio Kohima. I'm Jonas Yandan with Evening News. The headlines. Prime Minister Modi says fighting corruption is not a job of single agency, but is a collective responsibility. India and US signed landmark defense pact, basic exchange and cooperation agreement. Centre extends guidelines for reopening of activities till November. And COVID-19 recovery rate in the country reaches 90.62%, while Nagaland's recovery rate is at 77.41%. The Vigilance Awareness Week is being observed from today till the 2nd of November. This year, the theme is Satark Parad, Samrit Parad, Vigilant India, Prosperous India. Vigilance Awareness Week is observed every year during the week in which the birthday of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel falls on the 31st of October. Inaugurating the three-day-long national conference on vigilance and anti-corruption via video conferencing this evening, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that administrative processes have to be transparent, responsible, accountable and answerable to the people for development. Modi said over the years, India has moved ahead with a zero-tolerance approach on corruption. He said be it corruption, economic offences, drugs, money laundering or terrorism and terror funding, these are all related to each other. The Prime Minister said we have to jointly work against corruption with systemic checks, effective audits and capacity building and training. India and US today signed 5 agreements during the third bilateral 2+2 ministerial dialogue in New Delhi. From the Indian side, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar led the delegation. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Secretary of Defence Mark Esper led the US delegation. Briefing reporters after the meeting, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said signing the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement BECA today is a significant achievement. Singh said in Defence Industrial Cooperation area, the two sides had a candid and useful discussion. Singh said the Indian sides highlighted its capabilities of defence industries. Rajnath Singh said the two delegations shared assessment of security situation across Indo-Pacific. Centre has extended the guidelines for reopening of activities issued on 30th of last month till end of November this year. The Union Home Ministry in its order issued today informed about the extension and reiterated that a resumption of normal activities does not mean the end of the pandemic. It cautioned everyone and urged citizens to strictly adhere to the COVID-appropriate behaviour. Home Ministry has been releasing guidelines towards gradual reopening of activities since its first order on lockdown measures issued in the month of March this year. In respect of certain activities having relatively higher degree of risk of COVID infection, states and union territory governments have been permitted to take decisions for the reopening based on the assessment of the situation and subject to the SOPs. These activities include schools and coaching institutes, state and private universities for research scholars, allowing gatherings above the limit of 100 among others. While lockdown will continue to be implemented strictly in the containment zones till 30th November. State and union territory governments will not impose any local lockdown outside the containment zones without prior consultation with the central government. Further, there will be no restriction on interstate and intra-state movement of persons and goods, and no separate permission or e-permit will be required for such movements. The COVID-19 recovered cases in the country have crossed 72 lakhs and the recovery rate today stands at 90.62%. Briefing media in New Delhi, Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said there has been a decline in cumulative positivity rate. The Health Secretary said the active cases have drastically declined to 6.25 lakh. Nagaland today registered another 63 fresh cases of COVID-19 positive, taking the total tally to 8,726. Health Minister S. Pangyapom in a tweet informed that 36 cases were detected from Dimapur, 18 in Kohima, 8 from Mon and 1 from Tuensang. He also said 35 positive patients have recovered, which include 19 from Dimapur, 15 Kohima and 1 from Mon. The total recovered cases in the state now stand at 6,755 with 77.41% recovery rate. There are 1,000 7,860 active cases, while 27 have succumbed to the infection. This news comes to you from All India Radio, Kohima. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today urged people of the country not to become lenient about precautions related to corona during this festive season, and with a strict adherence to social distancing, we will be able to defeat the deadly virus. He was speaking to the beneficiaries of PM Street Vendors Atma Nirbhar Niti PM Swaniti scheme in Uttar Pradesh. Modi said that many government schemes like Jan Dhan, Ayushman Ujjwala, PM Swaniti have helped people of the country to fight the corona pandemic in a better way, and we showed the world that people of the country can face any challenge and turn the situation around. He said that the banks are now reaching the poor in the country, and it is the result of the continuous work of the government. Speaking about a PM Swaniti scheme, Modi said that such scheme for street vendors was introduced for the first time after independence in the country. He said a swift implementation of the scheme is significant. Not only is the process fast and digital, but also there is no need for a middleman to get the benefit of the scheme. Prime Minister said that street vendors have a significant role in the economy of the big states like UP, and it will also play an important role in decreasing the rate of migration due to unemployment. Union Road and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari virtually laid the foundation stones for 9 national highway projects in Tripura through video conferencing this morning. Under today's awarded highway projects, 2,752 crore rupees will be spent for development of 262 kilometer roads in the state. The minister also announced that his ministry will prepare DPR for 4 more national highway stretches, including 4-lane bypass in Agartala. These projects' total length will be 365 kilometers with an estimated cost of 7,520 crore rupees. The Union Minister said the new projects will provide better connectivity, fast and safe movement of traffic to various tourist places, historical places and religious places in the entire state. Gadkari said that the Union government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi is ready to extend any kind of help to the northeastern states for better future. 18 more individuals have been declared as terrorists under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Home Ministry said the Union government had amended the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967 in August 2019 to include the provision of designating an individual as a terrorist. Prior to this amendment, only organizations could be designated as terrorist organizations. The ministry said, reinforcing the commitment of strengthening national security and its policy of zero tolerance to terrorism, the Union government has declared 18 more individuals as designated terrorists. And as the nation fights COVID-19 pandemic, let us all remember to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, wash hands frequently, and follow social distancing. And now to the news, here are the main points again. Prime Minister Modi says fighting corruption is not a job of single agency, but is a collective responsibility. India and US signed landmark defense pact, basic exchange and cooperation agreement. Centre extends guidelines for reopening of activities till November. And COVID-19 recovery rate in the country reaches 90.62%, while Nagaland's recovery rate is at 77.41%. That is all we have in this evening news bulletin. Good night.